Good morning. My name is Tracy Canales, and I am here today as a History Social Studies coordinator who works for the Imperial County Office of Education. Today we're going to start thinking about thinking, but really about getting our young people to think. How are we going to do that? By getting them to ask questions. Because the goal of questions isn't always about getting kids to answer, it's about getting kids to think. And that comes from Julie Woodward, as you can see over here on the screen. Also, you can see there's a bit.ly link to all of the resources that I'm going to go through today, and you can access that at your leisure. This link will be on at the end as well. So welcome to our crash course for the question formulation technique, otherwise known as QFT. Where does this come from? It comes from the Right Question Institute and from the book Make Just One Change. And this is really about getting students to think about who, what, when, why, where, and how. Studies have shown that at an early age, students do a better job at asking questions, and as they get older, we start asking the questions. So this is 7 steps that are deceptively simple, and in fact, I'm going to walk you through all of the steps, but you are allowed to take the skip option on some of them. So let's get started looking at some of these happening in the classroom. You can see students are starting to ask their own questions. These pictures come from Brawley Union High School District. They adopted QFT as a universal principle that they use in all classrooms and also in even adult meetings as they continue to move their system and get students to learn. So step 1 is the only thing the adult has to do. You need to produce a Q focus. What's a Q focus? It's motivation to ask questions. Really, it can be anything that makes a person ask questions. There's no rules. Before reading a book, you can show the cover and the image to your child or student and let the questions flow. You can take a walk outside or a drive around town and have your child ask or record questions. If you're driving, make sure they're recording them. In the kitchen, as you cook, because I'm sure we're all cooking much more these days, you can let them watch you cook and let the questions flow. When watching the news, there's ample opportunities. So you can have your young children or your students start to record the questions that they have, but we can also take them and put them under one thing, like ways we can help our community, ways we can stay safe in a pandemic. And those are very important questions. There is one rule though, the Q focus cannot be a question. One more time, can't be a question. Why? Because questions get answers, not more questions. So step 2, you have to produce the questions. But before you do that, you need to make sure that the young person and ourselves understand the rules. Here's the rules. We need to write them down. We need to ask as many as we can. Adults, don't stop and answer the question or judge them. If your child or a student actually says a statement, just turn that into a question and write it down and move on. Step 3 is producing those questions. Now, right now we have lots of time at home. So those questions might be throughout the day, throughout the week. It might be you time it. It really depends on how your learning is working for you. This is a skip option. Step 4 is really discussing open-ended and closed-ended questions and why we use both of them. So in step 4, we talk about them, and then in step 5, students actually change their questions and start to really think about how they are really producing questions that are getting more discussion, or are they closed-ended questions that are really a right or wrong answer. So the last step is to prioritize our questions. Have your young person, whether that's your student or your child, or you can do this together, prioritize these questions and which ones are most important that they would like to explore first. And then think about, why was it that we chose those questions? What was the rationale for choosing them? The next step is to think about how we can move closer towards answering those questions for ourselves. And I'm actually talking about the student or the children. So how is it that they can take advantage of their own learning time and really start to take that curiosity into a learning moment? So then, of course, we're going to create an action plan thinking about what information we need to know and what are the things we need to do to learn it. The last step in this process is a reflection process. How does it work as a learner? What was most difficult? And what's a goal to work on for next time? Please use QFT because questions are important, and what matters to our young people matters to all of us. If you need any help with this, my email is there, Tracy Canales, ICOE. The link is here as well. Thank you so much and have a great day.